Let's be honest. If finding meaning in life were as simple as buying a journal and romanticizing your morning coffee, you'd already be enlightened by now. But here you are, scrolling through another video because something feels off. Not tragic, not catastrophic, just empty. Like you're living on airplane mode. And sure, you've tried the trendy solutions. You've done the aesthetic habits, you've bought the plants, you've tried the gym for 3 whole days, and you've read exactly half of that self-help book everyone pretends changed their lives. But deep down, you know the truth. You're not lacking meaning. You're lacking something far more uncomfortable. You're lacking something to care about, really care about. Not the temporary dopamine kind of care. Not the, I swear this hobby will change my life kind. I'm talking about the type of caring that costs effort, time, emotional investment, and, God forbid, commitment. Meaning isn't hiding from you. You're avoiding it. We live in an era where everyone wants meaning, but nobody wants inconvenience. We want passion without discomfort, purpose without responsibility, fulfillment without sacrifice. It's like wanting 6-pack abs, but also wanting to remain spiritually married to potato chips. And society doesn't help. Everything is engineered to minimize involvement. Entertainment autoplayed, food delivered with a swipe, friendships maintained with emojis. Your life is so convenient, you barely have to show up for it. So of course life feels meaningless. You're barely participating in it. Meaning requires attention, presence, and investment. And you're spending 90% of your attention on things specifically designed to require none of that. The algorithm doesn't want you to care. It wants you to consume until your emotions are numb and your brain is too tired to notice. You can't find meaning because you're too busy avoiding the very activities that create it. Thinking deeply, caring deeply, struggling meaningfully, building slowly. But instead, you chase shortcuts. 10 steps to find your purpose. Aesthetic routines that will fix your soul. How to change your life in 24 hours. And none of it works, because all of it skips the one thing meaning actually needs: engagement. Another problem: you've confused emotional numbness with being low maintenance. You say you're just chill, unbothered, neutral. But here's the plot twist. You're not unbothered. You're disconnected. You don't feel deeply, not because you're calm, but because you've deactivated the part of you that actually cares. And the longer you stay in that state, the more life feels like a background app you never quite open, but also never fully close. You tell yourself you prefer comfort, but comfort becomes a cage when it replaces meaning. Real meaning requires risk. Caring is risky. Caring means you can get hurt, disappointed, embarrassed, or, worst of all, responsible. No wonder numbing yourself feels safer. But here's the irony. When you avoid caring to protect yourself, you don't avoid pain. You create a different kind of pain. The pain of nothingness. The quiet ache of a life with no emotional gravity. The boredom that feels suspiciously like a slow, spiritual death. Numbness isn't peace. It's self-abandonment wearing sweatpants. Here's the part nobody wants to admit. Caring about something means you automatically risk losing it. That's why people avoid caring altogether. You can't care about a relationship without risking heartbreak. You can't care about your goals without risking failure. You can't care about your dreams without risking looking foolish. You can't care about your life without risking the realization that you've wasted a lot of time not living it. Meaning asks you to show up, even when it's inconvenient. Meaning asks you to commit, even when it's messy. Meaning asks you to invest effort with no guarantee of a payoff. But we're conditioned to want results without vulnerability. We want love without rejection. We want success without embarrassment. We want purpose without emotional exposure. Caring is terrifying because it forces you into the arena. Meaning doesn't exist outside it. One of the biggest myths of modern self-help is the idea that you have to feel inspired before taking action. No, that's the reason everyone stays stuck. You don't find meaning by waiting for motivation. You find meaning by doing things that matter, even when you don't feel like it. You didn't lose your meaning. You lost your discipline to engage. People say, I'll start caring when life gives me something worth caring about. It doesn't work like that. Caring doesn't appear. Caring grows. And it grows through repeated effort, attention, and investment. Think about it. You don't instantly love a hobby. a project, a community, or even a person. You grow to love them the more you engage. Meaning comes from depth, not novelty. The problem isn't that your life lacks meaning. The problem is that you keep quitting everything before meaning even has a chance to form. You try something for a week. You get bored. You move on. You call it not my passion. But passion isn't found. It's built. Purpose isn't discovered. It's developed. Meaning isn't given. It's earned. If you never give anything enough time to matter, nothing will ever matter. So what's the cure for meaninglessness? Ironically simple. Disgustingly simple. Uncomfortably simple. Choose something and care about it on purpose. Pick a goal. Pick a craft. Pick a relationship. Pick a responsibility. Pick something that demands your presence. Then show up for it, regularly, even when it's boring, even when it's not aesthetic, even when you'd rather default back to numbness. Meaning comes from attention. Attention comes from effort. Effort comes from intention. It's not deep. It's discipline. If any part of this video felt like a subtle attack, that's because you recognize the truth in it. And maybe, for once in your life, that's a good thing. You don't need a perfect plan to create meaning. You just need to start caring about something long enough for it to matter. So here's your challenge. Pick one thing today, one thing to show up for, one thing to invest in, one thing to actually care about. And watch how your life changes the moment you stop treating it like a spectator sport. If you want more videos that cut through the noise instead of adding to it, hit subscribe and stay. Not because you're bored, but because maybe, just maybe, you're ready to actually care.